get settled in here. Hey guys, this is Matt's post G-Fest wrap up video. Kind of like last year, I thought I'd do a little. It's a little bit of a rambly vlog, but hopefully I won't bore you guys too much. Self-deprecating humor. No, but I like for these things to be consistent, and it helps to talk into a void and not have anyone to bounce off of, because then you can practice talking in coherent sentences, which can be difficult for somebody with ADHD, as I'm sure some of you, a lot of you, probably know. But yeah, G-Fest was definitely an eventful weekend this year. 2023, I think it was G-Fest XXV 123, which is that, like 28 or something. I am still very tired. I mean, it's going to be a little while to fully recover from the event, but it was good, though. It was good, There are certain aspects that I'm not thrilled about, which just, I think a lot of conventions have to deal with. You get that many people and that many moving parts into a single space, and some things are just not going to go well, but other things will go very, very well. And G-Fest is one of those shows that I have been a part of for a very long time. And unfortunately, that means that I'm a lot more, because I'm a little more tied in directly to the inner workings. That means that I'm a little more clued into the things that are going on. So, hope that's not coming through on the audio. But yeah, I will say that I also will take it as an opportunity to kind of show off some of my purchases. One of my first purchases for the weekend is actually on Thursday. This is the YMSF Giant Condor, Ol Condoru. And it's YMSF makes these kind of Bandai scale, Bandai size, Bandai scale vinyl figures of characters that Bandai probably won't make figures of. Although recently, they've been making figures that Bandai has then turned around and made figures of, which I thought was really funny. I don't know if there's any connection there, but that is kind of funny. Actually, there's two others on my shelf that I had put up there from over the weekend, and I forgot to grab them, but that was one of my first purchases from Fumiaki at YMSF. I also picked this up from the Seismic table. This is from Alex Rushdie, the director of Dawn of the Monsters. He had a bunch of Dawn of the Monsters stuff at his table. It was really cool, actually, sitting really close to them. This is a Nintendo DS game called, I think it's called Daikaiju Rush, or it's called Busters, Kaiju Busters. If you can see it there, it's a DS game, and it's basically, as it's been described to me, a Monster Hunter game, but with Ultra Monsters, and like Science Patrol and Ultra Garrison and stuff, which I think is actually a really fun concept. Apparently it will work on an American DS, so I'll plug it in and have to give it a shot. Thankfully, I seem to have avoided the con crud, but I do have, I got a little scratchy in my throat because just coming back from Chicago and slamming into the wall of allergens that is the Texas biosphere, my body is just like, what is this? So, I'm a little scratchy. That's okay. That's what I had Gatorade for. Little fluids. Keep it going. Another gift, a gift I got actually was from, again, Fumiaki Kawakami. He's the guy who, YMSF. He gave me an Ultraman Blazar, which was, these are kind of hard to find right now. I mean, I'm sure it's easier to find them now, but when Ultraman Blazar premiered about a week ago, a little over a week ago, these were kind of hard to find, but yeah, Fumisan found one and for me, and it was very cool of him. This is one of the little action figures. It's not like a full-on monster figure art style toy, but I don't tend to collect the ultras themselves just because just so damn many of them. There we go. Yeah, these kind of standard ultra action figures, I think, are an interesting midpoint between, say, like the standard Bandai vinyl figure and like the super expensive Ultra Act figures, which again I used to collect and I don't anymore. They're too expensive and there's too many of them. But Blazar is just such a cool design, and what wound up being serendipitous about it was Kiyotaka Taguchi was there at G-Fest. He was kind of a last-minute appearance. He just showed up. I don't know if he had, like, planned to be there or if he was in town for business or something, but he wound up coming by my table, and we got a quick selfie together, and I was like, oh, check it out, you know, and I gave him a copy of Spectre Man. But yeah, let's see here. Yeah, I really like this figure. Anyway, it even comes with I suppose this is supposed to be, this is the Blazar, the what is it, the Barade or whatever they called it. It was like it's the Blazar that comes out of his hand, the black hole. Anyway, yeah, let's see what else we got here. I ran into the creator of Dragon Lizard Lord in the hallway outside of the vendors area, and I had to, I was talking with him, and he actually wound up giving me a copy of it. This film has kind of gotten a bit of a infamous reputation in the fandom. Is essentially a Godzilla fan film from like the 90s that was actually put out on Blu-ray of all things, and I think that's hilarious. And I also think, like, screw it, like just like you know, these kids got together and back in like the 90s or whatever, and they just made their own monster kaiju thing, and then fast forward like 20 years and it's like a Blu-ray, and it's like it's just something about this is very earnest and very charming to me. So like, whatever, they're having fun with it. I know audio keeps cutting out. I gotta get on the computer. In addition, the folks representing Resurrection Toys got in touch with me, and they gave me these beautiful, these are like custom repaints of the Xenozilla and Predacon. And if y'all remember, I got a box from Resurrection Toys a few months ago, and then this was delivered by one of their reps in the States to me at G-Fest. And they're like Matt Frank editions based on they're based on the sketches I did. I think it was last year I did sketches of these two versions of the characters, and they even have like the little blue highlights and a little red. That's extremely cool. So thank you to Resurrection Toys for that. Definitely keep an eye out for their stuff. I really like what they do. Let's put these over here. God, just piles of stuff. I'm gonna move Blazar's being a bum. I'm gonna move him. Oh man, yeah, the show was the show was really fun. Here's another fun thing. This is another Realm of Gordio book. This is a original Kaiju Universe by Dane Kroll. And it's sort of a, you know, he kind of made his own Godzilla style universe. He was like, what if spit it out, Matt. What if kaiju, like what if a universe like the Toho Showa universe just kind of kept going? Like, what would that world look like? And It's clear from that the first book is definitely like an early effort. As I understand it, as the books go along, they increase in quality, and you can kind of. I think it's kind of cool being able to watch someone grow as a writer. And he had this. It's a choose your own adventure book, but it's for a kaiju attack. I think that's hilarious and cool. So I definitely snapped this up. It's one of those like, do you do this? Go to page blah blah blah. Oh, you died. So I think that's really funny. I used to really like these. I think I had like Goosebumps, choose your own adventure books when I was a kid. So that's cute. Let's see what else we got. This is really exciting. It's Gorgo. It's the plush Gorgo from Titanic Creations. This was the Gorgo that I designed for them. I think they're very soft. They're very snuggly. I personally really like them. I like their big doofy hands, like their big doofy feet. I like they're just very soft. I've had some people complain, like some people would be like, they'll look at my concept art for the plush and they'll be like, oh, it looks like the plush you got off a Wish or something. It's like, okay, do you guys have any idea how difficult it is to make a plush? Like, the design I did for the plush was like pie in the sky. Like, this is if we had like all the money and all the resources. They did send me some test shots of like some alternate versions of the plush that had like more detail in the face and the teeth weren't sticking out, but the head was like 3 times as big. Because making plushes is really hard and also very expensive. That is going to get me copyright struck. Hold on, because this is just straight up Disturbed. I'm listening to a lot of Disturbed while playing while working on Space Godzilla. So sure, I'll play Black Star by Minda Rin, who shockingly looks very similar to someone I met at G-Fest. Never seen them in the same room, though. Anyway, it's very difficult to make plushes, and I think that honestly, like, for the price point, I mean, these guys are not that expensive. If they were going to make something that was closer to a literal interpretation of what I had conceptualized, it probably wouldn't have been 2 or 3 times as expensive. So I think that this is a perfectly fine plush representation of Gorgo. I saw the new version of the action figure for Gorgo as well. Looks real good. They definitely increased the size of it. It's closer to like the 6-inch scale. Looks really, really good. I also picked her up. I was goofing on this in social media and stuff. This is a 96, 97 Mothra Leo figure. I love that she's got the little flappies. She's got these translucent eyes as well. I don't think they're supposed to light up, which is ironic because when I got home today, I had a delivery of the Haya Toys Mothra 2019. So now I have both of them. And she looks really nice. She's like a larger version of the NECA figure. Because I think famously the Monster Arts Mothra for 2019 was not very impressive. And the NECA was nice though, especially because it had like partially translucent wings. These wings are opaque. These are not translucent, but they look really nice. She looks really good. There's a lot of really nice detailing on the body there too. So yeah, happy with that. It's even got this little stand. I've got to figure out how to get that to work later though. Let's see. A fan gave me a Ultraman Nexus, the blue variant, the second version, little mini action figure. That was very kind. I got quite a few cool little gifts and stuff. Down in the gaming room at G-Fest is always really fun. It's run by friend of the show, Michael, and a couple of the other kids and younger folks of the G-Fest crew. And there's some really cool stuff down there. Some folks are even selling some stuff. They actually had I'm gonna post a video of it. This Godzilla Wars game that was like it's not just an arcade game. It's like something you would play at like Dave and Buster's or Pinballs or I gotta sorry, my phone is acting up. Anyway, I'll post a video of it. There's a video of me and another fan playing it, who was also really, really nice and really fun. And it's like this big animatronic Godzilla. It's like something you see at Chuck E. Cheese. It's just coming for you, and you've got to shoot it with these little maser guns and stuff. Really cool. And these were in a little gashapon machine. I forget the name of this guy, but this is apparently Atomic Rex, who's another original kaiju made by a novelist in the community. That's really cool. That's cool. You're making your own merch. I got some reprinted Godzilla. Let's just move out of that. I got some reprinted Godzilla manga. They got the Megalon manga and the Son of Godzilla manga. They're pretty cool. I love old Godzilla manga. I have a pretty substantial collection. I think those were from the Toho special effects box volume thingies. I'm gonna talk about this in a minute. Let's see. I didn't realize until I got there, but Dream Planet Japan was there, which is the company started by Koichi Kawakita, special effects director from the Heisei series. And they had these cool little, his daughter runs the company now, and they had these cool little standees. It's like a Godzilla, it's a Heisei Godzilla and a baby Godzilla, or a little Godzilla rather. They look so cool. These are cool little standees. You can put a little, you can put like a postcard or a photo inside of that or something. There was a pretty cool little guest lineup this year. There was TJ Storm. This is his first G-Fest. Apparently he had a really good time. TJ is the motion capture actor for Godzilla 2014 and Godzilla King of the Monsters. And I hope they bring him back for future stuff, because I think he's just great. I think he brings this weight to the character. Like the Godzilla vs. Kong version of Godzilla has some cool moments. Has a lot of really cool moments. Ow. But it doesn't have that heft and that mass that I felt the motion capture version did. But I think it's different strokes. But I just want TJ to be able to keep playing Godzilla. There, like I said, Kiyotaka Taguchi was there as kind of a surprise guest. Don Fry was back. I still have my first. This is one of my first autographs from G-Fest in 2008. It's signed Final Wars. Don is an interesting guy. I have been friends with a lot of really fun stories with him. And the special guest was Yumiko Shaku, who was the actress from Godzilla against Mechagodzilla in 2003. And I did not get a chance to go down to the autograph session, but thankfully I was able to meet her later before she left. And she was very kind to actually sign my copy of The Princess Blade. This was a movie from 2004. I guess this is the movie that she did right after Godzilla against Mechagodzilla, or the movie she did right before, and it took like a couple of years to release. I can't really remember, but this was from back when she was like kind of at the height of her fame, but she's still a very famous and well-known actress in Japan. And we got to we were fortunate at G-Fest that we got to meet her. And I actually gave her a page from Godzilla Rulers of Earth that was one of the only pages I had left that had Kiryu on it. And then apparently she thought very highly of she was apparently very complimentary of it. She was kind of on the way out, so there was not a lot of time to really talk. She spoke a little bit of English, which was cool. And apparently she genuinely was surprised. I think I was the only person who brought Princess Blade to get her to sign. So I can check that little box on my personal list. So that was neat. That was really cool. there's more stuff around. Oh, here we go. I do have to say the fans who came up to me at my table are always so nice. Like, everyone is so sweet, and some folks were making me almost cry. Like, I genuinely had tears in my eyes from some of the things that some folks told me. Like, they gave me a note that had a sketch on it. And it made me genuinely kind of choke up a little bit, because they're just so kind, and excuse me. And I got some Omar, the creator of Dragon Lizard Lord, he gave me his next comic he was working on. What does it say? Tiamatzilla versus the Kaiju Kongs. It's the Dragon Lizard Lords. And there's something so, like, underground indie comic about these. They feel like an old R. Crumb comic. They feel like something, they feel like indie comics. They feel like underground comics. And that makes them very charming and very endearing. So I can't, it's all hand drawn. It's all hand drawn, and it's all the lettering is all. It's just they're very, very silly. Another fan gave us Dawit Trench. I hope I'm pronouncing Dawit correctly. Gave us this his original comic Carnivore Part 1, and based on what he told us, it's kind of a horror monster comic. So I'm excited to dig into this and give him my feedback. Anyway, I've been rambling for about 20 minutes. G-Fest is, by and large, usually a good time. I also want to thank everybody for letting Castanet feel very welcome this year. I think last year things were a little weird. Like, the vibe was kind of off because we were all coming back out. We were clawing our way out of the pandemic. And we weren't really sure, because G-Fest really is like a family reunion in a lot of ways, including the weird uncles you don't talk to. But there were so many reunions, and this is something that Castanet said herself. She was like, God, it's like a family reunion. And I'm like, I know. I've been doing this for over 10 years now, or my 12th G-Fest or something. But it meant a lot that she, I think, is feeling very welcome in a lot of the community, because she's also learning more about the genre and about these franchises. It's part of it is her job. So, and thankfully there was no, there was no incident this year where, like, somebody complained about her outfits or whatever. She likes to dress up, and she looked great. And I dressed up too. I also, this is my first G-Fest where I actually got to put like a costume on, and I was the Mothra Guru, which I don't know how insensitive that name is, but I kind of modeled it after the idea that it's like, hey man, for $5 a month, you too can receive our blessings of Our Lady of Infant Island, and I'm not affiliated with the Shobijin in any capacity. I have to say that legally, or my lawyers will get after me. We have fun with it. I mean, like any G-Fest and all these moving parts, there are always going to be issues. There is the issue, there's the ongoing issue of there functionally being no Artist Alley, and truly, in a lot of ways, there not being any artists. Aside from a very, very small handful. There was me, there was Bob, there was Hiroshi Kanatani, there were some of the writers like Dane, there was the card game, Kaiju Assault, and and there's a couple of folks kind of sprinkled around, but the fan art ban, quote unquote, is an ongoing issue, and I think that because the numbers at G-Fest, because the attendance numbers are still so strong, I don't think management has much incentive to actually change that. I mean, I since I couldn't bring any I only brought 3 prints this year, including my new State of the Monsters cover. I, wound up bringing a bunch of my collection to sell, which I had been planning on doing anyway. And Castanet put together this friggin' awesome booth for me, where she created this kind of bowed-in U-shaped table setup. And it was perfect. I mean, it was awesome. We were a little hard to find because we were kind of in the back, but I think that it was, and it also helped solve some of the line issues, because we'll have, you don't want if there's a line at your table, you don't want it going out into the aisles and blocking traffic. So, there was still a line, but they kind of started forming after a while. I kind of went around the corner, but whatever. Which, again, is extremely, extremely flattering. That makes me feel really good. But, yeah, I brought a bunch of my collection to sell, and so I appreciate everybody buying stuff from that collection, too. We wound up having a pretty successful year, in spite of not being allowed to sell art that I would normally be able to sell at other shows. But not everyone has that... Not everyone has that benefit. Not everyone has that that privilege to be able to I'll just pivot slightly and still be able to make a profit. That's why All Monsters Attack has been really fun, because it was like this big G-Fest artist reunion. We had a great time. Everybody was, swapping stories and catching up and stuff. And it was in Chicago as well, a month or two ago, back in May, I think, and it was just a great time. Or it was early June. God, I don't remember. Time is meaningless. Aside from that, like I said, every now and then there are issues. A fan, a customer, was misgendered at another booth. I was not happy to hear that. And I will not be naming names, but just apparently, she was misgendered very pointedly, and then she was like, well, it's actually she, her, and then the person got belligerent about it. Just from a business perspective, maybe don't intentionally antagonize your customers, which I know is funny because that's something that right-wingers like to say, anti-trans and right-wingers and all those people, they like to be like, well, you're splitting the loyalties of your customer base, and it's like, first of all, none of those people were buying my stuff to begin with, and also, I'm not leading with, if somebody's at my table, I feel like that's different. When somebody comes to your table at your booth and says, hey, I want to buy this thing, and then you decide, well, I'll take their money, but then I'm going to insult them to their face. Maybe don't do that. Just don't be an ass. And just from a morality standpoint, just don't be an asshole. I feel like that shouldn't be hard. But some people, they want to make that's their statement is, well, I have a right to be a completely abusive asshole as an American. What? I was not happy to hear that. Hopefully, thankfully, it seems like those incidents were few and far between. G-Fest in general is a fairly welcoming and open environment. There's a strong LGBTQIA plus undercurrent at G-Fest, which they're looking to hopefully see if there could be some kind of meetup next year, which I personally really hope that they're able to do. I would be 1,000% in support of that. And my table, Cass and I always try to make sure that our table's a safe space, that, you can come to us if you have an issue, if you feel unsafe, because while I think that in certain spaces there is a lot of acceptance, there has been more acceptance, it's also been, it makes the people who make that more difficult, it makes them, they start getting louder because they have a persecution complex. I could talk about this for 3 hours. Anyway, it's been half an hour. I've been talking about this, but, you know, thankfully, hopefully that was the only incident. And outside of that, it seemed like everybody had a good time, with a few exceptions. I mean, I can't speak for other people's experiences, but I sometimes run into this idea of like, well, if this space is, you know, if the people running G-Fest are not sympathetic or are are politically problematic, then why do you go and why do you do this? And it's just like, well, I don't know, like maybe there's something to trying to take this space and try to make it more safe, and to try to, I don't know. I feel like that's a pretty involved topic, because there's a lot of people come to the show, and a lot of them, this is their primary outlet. It's their primary social outlet to be in a space where we all like Godzilla. And I feel like it's important to maintain a positive presence, to stay involved. And yes, obviously there's a financial aspect to that, because there's a financial aspect to staying involved, because it's one of the best, it's my best show of the year. But that being said, the community is also really important, and I think it's important that we try to bring positivity to the community as well. This is probably something that's going to be ongoing, though, because sometimes it's hard. You know, you feel like you're beating you feel like you're beating your head against the wall. But I think that regardless, the overwhelming amount of warmth I felt from people of all stripes of life is truly special. And you know what? The dickheads who are homophobic or transphobic or racist, they don't come to my table. So fuck them. I apologize for the language. I don't know. I think that it is important to talk about. I have checked in with that person, though, who was misgendered, and they seem to be doing okay. They seem to have overall had a good time. And she, seems as though that was the only incident that she had wound up running into. Otherwise, but like I said, my table's a safe space, and I want people to be able to retreat to it if they need to, and talk to us. I know it can be hard sometimes because we have so many people at the table, which is a good problem to have, but it also means that sometimes hurts my ability to interact with people directly and give time to people, because there are people that I only see at G-Fest, and making time for those people can be difficult at a show as busy as G-Fest with as many people as I know. But that being said, seeing old friends was really nice. Making new friends was wonderfully nice. You meet all these, like, my heart felt very full. I do need to figure out the commission situation at G-Fest, though, because I have about 9 commissions I had to take home with me. And I said I'd never do that anymore, but but next year, I may just have to dial back on commissions again and just be like, nope, we're cut off, because I have to actually do the show. I have to actually be involved, and I have to actually see people and talk to people. All right, my throat's starting to go, guys. I'm gonna go gargle some salt water or something. But thank you again, everybody, for making G-Fest as enjoyable as it has been. And I hope everyone made it home okay. I hope people didn't catch the con crud, or if they did, it's relatively mild. Especially hope people didn't catch COVID like people did last year. Anyway, all right. I'm sure part of me wants to do the whole "whoa, it's wacky, it's and that'd be actually a good screenshot, just like this. But maybe I'll just do that. Okay, love you guys. Be safe. Hopefully, see y'all next year. Bye.